Hi everybody, it's Jenny, and today I'm sharing another Halloween card for Miss Ink Stamps. I'm going to be using the stamp set Mischief Makers from the Magic Collection, and I'm going to be using the 3 candy images to create my own background, as well as the Modern Typeset frame die, and I'm going to be using the alphabet dies from that set to create my sentiment. I'm also going to be using some additional frame sets to create some layers, and I'll have all those products listed in the description box below. So to get started, I'm going to take my A2 size piece of white cardstock and just go ahead and attach that to my craft mat using some washi tape. Then I'm going to take the 3 candy images from the stamp set and I'm going to arrange those onto some scrap cardstock just to see how I want them laid out. And then I'm going to go ahead and pick them up with my acrylic block. And once I have my images all grouped together on one block, I can start adding them to the cardstock to create a pattern paper. So I started in the corner and kind of worked diagonally across the front of the cardstock, and I kept rotating the acrylic block so that the same images weren't next to each other every time I stamped. Once I had the majority of the cardstock filled in, I just went in where some of the empty spaces were and stamped an additional image. Once I had everything all stamped out, I went ahead and picked out some Halloween oranges, purples, and greens and colored everything in. I also brought in a C1 and C3 cool gray to give the candy pieces some shadow. Once my background piece was all done, I went ahead and set that aside and brought in the alpha dies to create my sentiment. And so I'm going to cut those out of some black cardstock, and I'm going to get all the letters to spell out the sentiment trick or treat. Next, I cut out those same letters from a sheet of foam, and I'm just going to glue the cardstock pieces on top to add some dimension. Once I have all my letters complete, I'm going to go ahead and start playing around with the layout on my card front. Here's where I decided to bring in some additional dies to create some layers, and I'm going to use those to trim everything out, including a piece of vellum and black cardstock. Once I have all my pieces die cut, I'm going to go ahead and just start layering them up and gluing everything down. To get my sentiment nice and straight, I go ahead and use the lines on my craft mat and pick up the letters with a piece of washi, then add glue to the back and lay all the letters down at once, nice and straight onto the vellum. Next, I'm going to bring in some flat back rhinestones and some coordinating Halloween colors, and I'm going to add that to my vellum piece before I glue that onto my card front. Usually, the embellishments are the very last thing I add onto a card, but because I'm using vellum, I'm going to use those rhinestones to hide some additional glue at the corners of my panel. I actually did decide to add some extra glue to the opposite corners as well without the embellishments, and I just added the tiniest bit and it blended in pretty well with the white cardstock. Next up, I'm going to create my card base and then go ahead and attach the card front. And here's a look at the finished card. I've really been enjoying using my non-traditional Halloween supplies to create some fun Halloween cards, and I could totally see this working for any holiday by switching up the sentiment and the colors of the images. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!